Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to MIT. Today we are going to solve a question from probability Cambridge A level probability. The question belongs to paper 52 of 9709 of session May June 24. The question says the residents of Mahjing were asked to classify their local bus service. 25% of residents classified their service as good, 60% of residents classified the service as satisfactory, 15% of residents classified the service as poor. Question A says a random sample of 110 residents of Mahjing is chosen. Use a suitable approximation to find the probability that fewer than 22 residents classified their bus service as good. So, here the clue word is approximation. Look, whenever the word approximation mentioned, that means the distribution is given in binomial, which should be converted to normal distribution. So let's start with the binomial distribution. X is our binomial distribution, where the parameters for binomial distribution are the total trial, number of total sample is 110, so 110, and the other parameter is probability. So probability of the people who percentage of the people who classified is as good is this one, 25%. Okay, so 25% means it's actually 0.25, and we have already decided that whenever approximation, the word approximation is mentioned, then the distribution should be converted to normal distribution. So now X is our normal distribution, and the parameters for normal distributions are mean as well as variance. So mean is actually how to find the mean. Mean means product of, this is our n product, and this one is our probability. NP, product of n and p is mean. If we multiply 0.25 by 110, it is going to be 27.5. You can use your calculator for finding this, 27.5. And the second parameter is variance. How to find the variance? Variance is actually product of NPQ. Our N is 110, P is 0.25, so our Q is going to be 0.75. Now if we multiply N, P and Q, it is going to be 20.625, 20.62 and 5. Well, now they have told us to find the use a suitable approximation to find the probability that fewer than 22 residents. So let's start. Fewer than means less than 22 residents. But we should not forget that whenever we convert the binomial distribution into the normal distribution, binomial distribution is discrete random variable, whereas the normal distribution is continuous continuous random variables. So 22 should be, 22 is, look at this, 22 residents have been chosen. If it is converted to, this is a discrete variable. If it is converted to continuous variable, it will be 21.5. We should not forget this point actually. Then we will find the Z score. Let's find Z score. Z score is, the formula of Z score is x minus, x is 21.5, so 21.5 minus the mean. How much was our mean? Mean was 27.5 over standard deviation, and standard deviation is the square root of variance. So square root of variance is 0.625. So let's calculate this. If we do calculation, we will find probability of let's find the z score. I'm going to use my calculator, please do so. um, 21.5 minus 27.5 over 20.625. Sorry, this here there should be a 2. It was actually 20.625. So it's getting negative 1.32. Negative 1.32. Now let's see probability whenever z score is let's draw the normal curve. So this is our normal curve and its center mean is zero point 0.5. I mean probability is zero point 0.5 and standard deviation is 0. So z score is 0. So here less than, as the symbol is negative, the probability lies on the left side here, because all these values lying on the left side is negative. Suppose here 1.32. Well, so our probability is actually this portion. Well, but in our normal distribution graph, all the values are more than zero point 0.5. That means it will be, as the graph is symmetrical, this is our probability. Okay. So how can we find this probability from whole of the probability? You know, whole probability is actually 1. From 1, if we subtract this portion, I mean this, let me color it with different ink. Suppose this is red. So if we subtract this portion from whole of this, then we will get only this portion, the right side portion, because in our normal distribution graph it's always lies more than half, more than zero point 0.5. So it is going to be actually 1 over, let me erase this portion. Well, let me change the color. Well, it is going to 1 minus probability of z less than 1.32. Now, I cannot show you the normal graph. I think all of you know how to use the normal graph, which is provided with the book as well as in the exam hall. You'll get it. Then, probability of z less than 1.32 is actually 0.9068. Point 9068. In the next video I will show how to find out this probability using the normal distribution graph. So what is it going to be if we subtract this? It is going to be 0.0932. 0.0932. That's our probability. So it will be our answer. But can we write it in a proper form? That probability x less than 21.5, less than 21.5, or you can write 22 also. 22 is actually 0.093 and 2. That's all about the solution. Let's move on to the next question. Well, the next question says, for a random sample of 10 residents of Mahjong, find the probability that fewer than 8 classified their bus service as good or satisfactory. So here the clue point is the service, the people who certified is as good or satisfactory. Good or satisfactory means it maybe whenever or is mentioned, remember, or is mentioned, then it means summation of the probability. So one more thing is total number of samples is given. It's definitely binomial distribution, because you know in the previous one it was approximation. Whenever approximation word is mentioned, then it's given in binomial, you convert it into normal distribution. But there is no such word approximation in this question. That's why it's a simple binomial distribution. So let's write the binomial distribution. In binomial distribution, our number of total trial is 10, and probability of good and this is good or satisfactory. So we should add up good and satisfactory. If we add up good and satisfactory, it is going to be 0.85. 0.85 means 60 and 25. 0.85. Well, they told that probability of x less than 8 means less than 8 residents. So less than 8 means actually, um, it is, if we find less than 8 means probability of 1 resident, 2 resident, 3 resident, 4, 5. It's a very long process. So rather we can write probability of 1 minus x greater than or equal to 7 residents, greater than or equal to 8. Means if we subtract the probability of 8 residents, 9 residents, less than 8 means actually up to 7, up to 7. So as we are searching for the probability of 7%, then it's very easier to find if we subtract the probability of people more than 7. Okay, so it includes 8, 9 and 10. So let's see, 1 minus, for 8, binomial, this is actually combination formula. So our total sample is 10. 10 choose how many? 8. 10 choose 8, and our probability is 0.85. 0.85. So answer P is 0.85 raised to 8, whereas our I think I can write in a more elaborated way. In that case, it will be, you know probability of x equal to 7, sorry, 8, x equal to 8 minus probability of, we are subtracting all the probabilities, x equal to 9 minus probability of x equal to 10. Well, because total number of residents were 10. So 1 minus probability of x equal to 8, this is binomial distribution, and we are going to apply the combination formula, and total number of residents is 8. So 8 choose, sorry, 10, 10 choose 8, and our probability is 0.85. P is 0.85, so raised to 8, and our Q is 0.15. From 1, if we subtract 0.85, it will be 15. This is actually I am applying the combination formula, which is applicable for binomial distribution. Then 10 choose 9, 10 choose 9, and 0.85 raised to 9, and 0.15 raised to 1. Then another one is minus 10 choose 10, probability of 0.85 raised to 10. If the probability is, P is 10, then Q will be 0. Q 0.15 raised to 0. So let's calculate this. Let me write it over here. 1 minus, if we use this if we do this calculation, we will find actually it will be, let me do this calculation directly, um, but there is another way. Using my calculator, I can write this, 1 minus 45 into 0.85 raised to 8, 0.85 raised to 8. Well, 0.85 raised to 8, then 0.15 raised to 2, 0.15 raised to 2, minus 10 into 0.85, 0.85 raised to 9 into 0.15 minus, it's actually 10 choose 10 means actually 1, so it is going to be 0.85 raised to 10. After calculating all of this, we will get, using my calculator, I get 0.180. Hence, probability of what? X less than 8, x less than 8 is equal to 0.180. That's all about this solution. So, whenever probably binomial distribution is mentioned, we will try to find the longer or shorter method. If it is close to the beginning, then we will continue in right word. But if we find that it's longer process for finding probability x equal to 1, x equal to 2, x equal to 3, then we go in reversed way. From total probability, we will just subtract the unnecessary ones. That's how we can find the probability very easily. So let's move on to the next one. Question number C says, three residents of Mahjong are selected at random. Find the probability that one resident classified the bus service as good, one as satisfactory, and one as poor. So we know the there are three-person, and three-persons, their comment is in multiplying state, because look at this, they didn't mention one is classifying as good or satisfactory or poor. They told that one is certifying as good, another one is certifying as satisfactory, and another one is certifying as poor. That means it should be actually product of the probabilities. So we can write probability equal to, let us find the percentage for good. For good, percentage is good, satisfactory, and poor. So for goods, our percentage was zero point 0.6, for satisfactory 0.25, 0.25, and for poor, the percentages, I mean 0.15 is the probability. Now, as there are three-person, so the probability is equal to, we can write probability is equal to 0.6 into 0.25 into 0.15. Now the question is, actually there are three people, they have their probability is this one, but we don't know which one is actually the first one satisfactory. Three people, there are three people, but which person has particularly certified is as good or satisfactory, we don't know. That means they can, first one can go last, first one can categorize it as satisfactory, or first one can categorize it as poor, or the second one can categorize is good. That means it is not, we don't know that who particularly categorized it, which category. That's why we will have to multiply it by, we will have to arrange this as 3 factorial. So if we multiply by 3 factorial means 6, so it is going to be 0.60 into 0.25 into 0.15 into 6. That means it's 0.135. So that's the final answer of this question. Thank you all.